Hello everyone, in this video I'll be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Shahbaz Gill to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let's go through the key developments and insights in Shahbaz Gill's words. In today's most important news, first and foremost, the challenges that lie in the way of Field Marshal Awami Lens becoming the president and how they need to be overcome are now beginning to take shape. The legal intricacies and claims to remove them, along with how the Constitution will be twisted and turned to place Field Marshal Awami Lens in the position of President of Pakistan or Head of State, are now starting to come to light. This hasn't appeared on its own. It is being brought forward, and clearly it's being pushed by Field Marshal Awami Lens and his team. I will share all the details with you, but first, let me give you some background. The recent decision on the reserved seats is part of this. Field Marshal Awami Lens wants to become head of state, and that is why the Supreme Court's decision, deemed a fake and false one, is being pursued. The Constitutional Bench's decision is considered fake because the Supreme Court of Pakistan had already awarded those seats to the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, or PTI, with a clear majority. The new decision, however, was made by a much smaller number of judges. Perhaps only 13 judges heard the case, whereas the first decision was heard by around 20 judges, and now it has been reduced to just 10. The majority decision before was probably by 8 judges, and now it's by 7. Looking at this from any angle, legally, constitutionally, or ethically, this decision is flawed. After getting this decision passed, the situation has now changed. Previously, the ruling coalition, consisting of the PMLN, PPP, and other parties, had 214 seats in the National Assembly. Now, with 22 additional seats, they have 236 seats in the National Assembly. To amend the Constitution, a two-thirds majority is required. The magic number for two-thirds majority is 224, and they now have 236 seats, which has put the Field Marshal's position firmly in their hands. Now, the political orphans, be it the PPP, PMLN, or their other allies, are in a helpless situation. If they are told to declare Field Marshal Awami Lens as Amir al-Mu'minin, they will do so. These poor people have gone beyond even the basic recruits who, when told by their superiors that they are idiots, respond with "yes, sir," with full confidence. So the same situation applies to these political players. Whatever they are told, they will comply. With the 236 seats secured, even if some members try to create trouble or attempt any dishonesty, they will be pushed aside. Recently, Chaudhry Usman, who took an oath on the Quran and lied, also attempted to insult the Quran. He was also brought into the PMLN fold, so the total number of seats has now increased to 237. In the coming days, you may see similar maneuvers, and the magic number will be pushed even further. This will ensure that even if some members of PMLN or others attempt to create problems, they can be moved aside. Now, the magic number is within reach. As for Qamar Dilshad, who is a former secretary of the Election Commission of Pakistan and has close ties to the establishment, he is an influential figure. He is particularly close to Pakistan's military generals, and his analysis often reflects the military's wishes. When a political party or movement has the military's support, Qamar Dilshad's analysis aligns with that. However, once that support wanes, his perspective also changes. So, when Qamar Dilshad offers an analysis, it is generally an indication of what the military leadership is thinking. He wrote an article in a newspaper where he discussed the details of the roadmap. Simply put, these details are the roadmap of the Pakistani military leadership, conveyed through Qamar Dilshad. He mentioned several constitutional amendments, including changes to Articles 61, 243, 51 and 140. These changes are necessary if Field Marshal Awami Lens is to retain his military position while holding a public office as well. Such changes would involve altering the Constitution, specifically to include the Field Marshal's name alongside the President's title as the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces. Once these changes are made, the Field Marshal could be sworn in as President of Pakistan. Qamar Dilshad's article also touches on the broader geopolitical context. He pointed out that the region, especially in light of the threats posed by India, requires strong leadership, and he emphasized that this leadership could only come from a single person, Field Marshal Awami Lens. He suggested that the world, including figures like President Trump, is already engaging with him because they understand that he is the only one with the power to deliver on promises. This is the sentiment expressed by military officers, as per Qamar Dilshad's analysis. He further stated that in order to deal with these international challenges, Pakistan requires a strong leader, and there's an expectation that Field Marshal Asim Munir will become the head of state soon. This has been confirmed by journalists in Islamabad, including Nadeem Shehzad, who believes that the next major diplomatic visit for Pakistan will be to the United States, where Field Marshal Asim Munir will want to be recognized as the head of state. This expectation follows from the notion that it is unacceptable for a person in such a powerful position to be seen walking to the White House without recognition. Moving on to another news story from Islamabad, PTI World is being revamped and a new English channel is being launched. Talat Hussain, who is involved in this project, has been accused of manipulating news and engaging in envelope journalism. Our sources in Islamabad and other journalists have revealed that Talat Hussain is actively working on this project. However, when questioned, Talat Hussain denied any financial involvement. Whether or not he is financially benefiting from this project remains unclear. It is known, however, that Talat Hussain has indirect benefits, such as control over a cricket ground in Islamabad, which was allegedly gifted to him by military generals. Talat Hussain has also been involved in several indirect benefits that powerful figures in the military have provided him. While he denies any financial gain from PTI World, it is clear that he is working as a consultant and is recruiting individuals for the channel, placing his own people in key positions. On the other hand, his rival, Fahd Hussain, who was once a member of the Prime Minister's cabinet and later returned to journalism, is also reportedly involved in the media scene. Fahd Hussain is reportedly unhappy with his current position at a news outlet and is considering leaving. In the United Arab Emirates, 2 former PTI social media volunteers have been detained by the authorities for the past 7 months, and sources claim that they have either been transferred to Pakistan or are being prepared for transfer. The latest information we have is that they have been shifted to the Al-Watba jail in Abu Dhabi. While this information is not definitive until we receive official confirmation from UAE authorities, the sources we have, as well as earlier reports, suggest that these individuals have indeed been detained. They were reportedly threatened by an MI officer to either join the military's efforts or face abduction. When they refused to work against PTI, they were reportedly abducted and have now been detained for 7 months. Honestly, the situation is still unclear, and the latest reports suggest that they are being held in a UAE jail. However, without official confirmation, it cannot be considered a final statement, though the details shared by sources suggest this is true. The next piece of news is both very interesting and, quite surprising. You must have heard of artificial intelligence. For those who are unaware, let me briefly explain, without going into too much detail, about AI. It's essentially an artificial brain that uses the available data to train computer models. These AI models have become so advanced that they can provide you with much more than a mere search result. For example, when you search something on Google, it just gives you search results. But with AI, it can reason and draw conclusions, offering a comprehensive answer. For instance, if you ask, what is the total area of Pakistan and what are its major problems? AI can analyze available data on public discussions, major issues and statistics to give you a well-rounded response. There's an AI model, Grok, which works like many other AI platforms, including Twitter, now called X. You ask a question and Grok provides an answer. It became widely used around the world, and even Pakistanis got their hands on it. Once they did, the answers Grok provided were nothing short of shocking because it was able to say things that people might hesitate to say in real life. For example, people started asking Grok questions that they couldn't openly discuss, like opinions about certain individuals or sensitive political matters. One of the first questions asked was about political figures like, who is the biggest liar among Pakistani anchors? Grok responded by naming Umar Chima, a journalist, citing an incident where the Peshawar court had fined him for publishing a false story back in 2010, 2012 or 2016. After this, questions came flooding in. Someone asked, who is the government's lapdog in Pakistan? And Grok replied that it was Asma Shirazi. Another asked which anchor physically abuses children. Grok mentioned Garida Faruqi. When asked about military generals, Grok commented that they were loyal to the country, but their involvement in politics raised concerns about their personal financial interests. These were things that a typical Pakistani might not dare to openly say, but Grok didn't hesitate to provide such answers. Afterward, there were questions about various politicians like Nawaz Sharif and Asif Ali Zardari. Grok even labelled them as corrupt, stating that people have negative perceptions about them. The situation escalated when someone asked Grok, "If you were human, who would you vote for, and where would you live?" Grok replied that if it were human, it would live in the United States where technology, freedom of speech and innovation are advanced. But when asked who it would vote for, Grok said it would vote for PTI because it was a party of resistance. This shocked everyone. It got even more interesting when someone pointed out that Chima was being labelled as the biggest liar. To defend himself, Chima shared screenshots where Grok had praised him. But Grok responded, saying those screenshots were fake. The questions kept coming, like, who do Pakistanis love the most? Grok replied, Imran Khan. And when asked about hate, Grok said, the most hate is directed towards Nawaz Sharif and Zardari. People also asked about the current military leadership, and Grok said General Asim Munir was considered a dictator using power for personal gains. In short, Grok didn't leave anyone out. It answered questions that Pakistani people have in their hearts, but might be too scared to voice. Grok's responses were often blunt, mentioning prominent figures by name. Grok even said, I'm not afraid, I'm AI, and I only speak the truth. So there's no need to worry about any backlash. Grok clearly knows it can't be silenced, even if some people might try to shut it down. Now, with AI models like Grok available, I think Pakistanis will start asking more questions. For instance, they'll ask about the true nature of General Raheel Sharif and his leadership in the Islamic Military Alliance, or about the properties of General Bajwa. These are the questions that have been lingering in the minds of Pakistanis for a long time. Ultimately, this is a game changer for those in power. Twitter was a platform where people could express their views, but now Grok has expanded that platform by using AI to analyze data from across the digital world and respond in ways that people might hesitate to do themselves. If you want to try it out, just go to ChatGPT or Grok, ask any question, and you'll see how it works. That wraps up our translation of Shahbaz Gill's video. I hope this English version helped you understand his message better. Please like, share and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.